I guess we all had that moment where we wanted to give someone a more meaningful, more thoughtful gift, but all we can find is basically modern junk. I'm Indra, and today I'm sharing 8 unique vintage items that are currently online and available for you to shop that move past the ordinary into the extraordinary. Whether it's for you or for someone else for Valentine's Day or for a milestone birthday or just because, these are guaranteed to make your loved ones or even yourself incredibly happy. Let's take a look at our first find. Now, I want to talk about an object that I feel is the most underrated object in the vintage world. Let's let go of the idea of gifting a boring candle alone, and let's make it more interesting by adding an antique table lighter. In the past, lighting a candle wasn't something that was to be rushed. It was really a moment of ceremony. They really are not meant to be hidden in a kitchen drawer like a plastic lighter. They are truly tabletop jewelry. They were designed to sit on a stack of books or even a silver tray. What makes these so special and so much better than the ones produced today is the mechanical soul. Modern lighters are light, disposable, and honestly, an eyesore. But a vintage table lighter, there is such a way to it. There is a specific metallic click that just feels so satisfying. I actually found a wonderful shop on Etsy called Unique Fire Starters. They are based in the US and they curate these incredible rare pieces like the Georgian urn style. People often ask if they still work, and the answer is usually yes. But even if you never put fluid in them, they are stunning pieces of decor. It's an unexpected gift, and usually those gifts are the ones that people do remember the most. But be warned, because once you start looking for these stable lighters, you'll likely want to keep the best ones for yourself. Next, we have cigarette cases. And before you say, Indra, I don't smoke, don't worry, I have a much more interesting use for them. In a world where we are all carrying around slim plastic card holders or leather wallets that everyone else has, using a vintage cigarette case for your bank cards and ID and even cash is, well, it is just so much more fancy. It is a level of chic that you just don't see very often anymore. Look at the engraving on this one that I found on Etsy. This is a mid-century silver plated piece and the detail is incredible. When you pull this out of your bag to pay for a coffee or a dinner, it is an entire moment. It is definitely a conversation starter. It is a way to turn an everyday action into something that feels truly sophisticated. Now, a quick reminder, I have linked this exact case below, but as with everything in this guide, if it's already been snapped up by the time you are watching this, I will place a link similar to it instead. They were made in so many beautiful finishes, from silver to gold tone brass, so you will definitely find one that will satisfy your needs. It is unexpected, sustainable, and incredibly stylish compared to a modern wallet. Item number 3 is for the person in your life or yourself who loves to host. If you or they are the person that finds joy in the tiny details of tablescape, these are for them/you. They are vintage place card holders. There is something so incredibly romantic about a handwritten place card. It tells your guests that you were thinking about them way before they sat down. I found this shop called My Collectible. They are based in Barcelona, Spain, and she has the most beautiful swan place card holders ever. They are so tiny, usually just an inch or two long, but they have a wonderful weight to them. You slide the card into the small slit on the swan's back, and suddenly a simple dinner feels like a formal Regency affair. If you really want to elevate this gift, don't just give the swans. Buy a small pack of handmade paper or even with a beautiful fountain pen and ink. It turns into a kit for their next creative dinner party. Now I want to share what I consider to be the ultimate piece/gift for someone who loves the hunt as much as the object itself. It is my custom global sourcing map. Now technically this is the most affordable item at only 37 US dollars or 35 euros. For a true vintage lover, this is truly what they will appreciate the most. This isn't just a static list of shops, it is a living, breathing guide with over 300 vetted locations worldwide. We're talking about secret flea markets in France, tiny charity shops in the UK, and those massive annual fairs that are nearly impossible to find if you don't speak the local language or know the date. The best part, there is no shipping nor waiting. We've all been there trying to find a last minute gift and realizing it won't arrive for the next 2 weeks. It is a digital map that goes straight to your inbox from the moment you buy. No waiting for the mail. So imagine you're in Paris for the weekend, you open your phone, and instead of the usual tourist spots, you see multiple of my favorite antique shops right around you on your screen. It is the perfect evergreen gift because it's constantly updated. So this number of 300 vetted location is constantly increasing. You're essentially gifting them my personal black book of sourcing. This is also good if you're looking to find these treasures on your own, which makes the gift giving even more thoughtful. You can find the link for this in the first line of the description down below. Next, we have something that I believe to be the epitome of the Maison Amaranth aesthetic: hand mirrors. There is something so incredibly chic about a hand mirror. It is an object that has almost entirely disappeared from modern life, replaced by plastic mirrors or even phone cameras. But in a vintage home, a hand mirror is more than just a tool. It is a piece of sculpture for your vanity or for your bedside table. I scanned the internet and ended up scrolling through First Tips for a while and found so many beautiful ones. If you aren't familiar with First Tips yet, let me introduce you to what I consider the world's most beautiful digital gallery. While Etsy is wonderful for finding those charming individual treasures from small sellers, First Tips is where the world's most prestigious antique dealers and galleries list their finest pieces. So I first found this ornate brass mirror. Look at the weight of the brass and the figural motifs on the handle. When you hold a mirror like this, you feel the history. It has that deep golden patina that only comes with a century of use. But then we have a completely different expression of the hand mirror. This is an exclusive 1950s Venetian mirror made of Murano glass. This is Italian glamour at its best. The delicate floral glass work is so feminine yet so bold. If the brass mirror is history, the Murano piece is art. It is a 1950s dream. It is the kind of gift that transforms a morning routine into a ritual. Now, for the bibliophiles and art lovers, I have a very special recommendation. There is a small Etsy store I have been following closely called Monet's Library. The shop is run by a curator named Jiang, and they specialize in something very specific: finding vintage art books. If you've ever tried to source vintage books yourself, you know that finding a copy where the spine hasn't crumbled and the colors are still vibrant is quite a feat. She does all the heavy lifting for you. I want to highlight one specific piece currently in the shop that will be a dream for any living room. It's this 1953 Van Gogh portfolio from the Art Treasures of the World series. What makes this edition so special is its format. It's a mid-century folio, which means it has a much more artistic, oversized feel than a standard hardcover. The inventory of her moves quite quickly because she's a star seller, and those items truly are one of a kind. So if the pieces that I'm recommending are gone by the time you're seeing this, I'll definitely have linked some other ones down below. Unfortunately, she only ships to the US. You can definitely still find vintage books on Etsy overall. Now let's move into the bathroom, or as I prefer to think of it, the smallest gallery in your home. If you want to know if someone is truly chic, look at their soap dish. Imagine walking into a guest bathroom and instead of a plastic bottle or a basic ceramic tray, you see a delicate vintage shell holding a beautiful bar of soap. You just know they have taste, don't you? It is a level of chic that feels effortless but intentional at the same time. For these, I've been scrolling through the Oblist. If you haven't discovered it yet, it is a wonderful curated marketplace. It is a step up in price from the Wild West of Etsy, but it's often more accessible than First Tips. It's where you go when you want someone with a very specific high fashion eye to have already done the vetting for you. I found these 1960s Italian shell bowls. Now, technically, they were designed for sugar or salt on a dining table, but in a Maison Amaranth home, we repurpose. And look at this large glass shell bowl. Glass shells are absolutely stunning when they catch the light in a bathroom. They have this watery, ethereal quality to it. When you place a soap inside, the light refracts through the glass and the soap almost looks like a pearl inside of an oyster. I also wanted to show you this one. It is a vintage Italian sugar bowl that comes with its own shell-shaped spoon. This is the secret of gifting. It is about taking an object and giving it a new, more romantic life. I've linked all three from the Oblist down below. It is a tiny luxury that your guests will notice immediately. Now, as I was looking through the Oblist, I also found many incredible table lamps. We cannot talk about the home without the light. When you gift a lamp, you aren't just giving an object, you're really giving atmosphere. In a Maison Amaranth home, we don't use the big light. The first one that caught my eye is the Nazaré. Look at the base of this piece. It has this raw, almost ancient stone texture. It looks as though it was carved centuries ago and has just now found its way into a modern room. Then we have the body. This is for the person who loves a more architectural, refined silhouette. It is a bit more polished and a bit more townhouse chic. The way the light will catch the smooth surface of this base is just, it's exquisite. It's the kind of lamp that feels grown up and very intentional. And finally, the Tomar. The Tomar is a masterpiece of form. It has these organic, rounded curves that we see so much in high-end European interiors right now. It feels very 1970s Mediterranean. A lamp like this is a forever gift. It's the piece that stays with someone through every house move, always providing the same warm welcome. Now, a small expert note: when you are gifting lamps from the Oblist, or even if you found one sourcing yourself, because these are often artisanal and vintage pieces sourced from across Europe, I always recommend checking the plug voltage in the listing details to avoid any issues in the future. So if you're ready to start your own hunt in the very places that all these shops found these kind of pieces, don't forget that my global sourcing map is the easiest way to find treasures yourself, or to give that hunter in your life a lifetime of expertise. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you found this helpful, let me know in the comments which item was your favorite and whether you ended up buying something for yourself or for someone you know. I have more items to share, including a shop that specializes in vintage inspired art, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on this series. Happy hunting!